Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our show today. And my name is the Dark Prophet. In case you don't know, I'm a psychologist and I'm also a life coach. And the title for my discussion today is Mental Health and Black Men. Mental health and black men. There's a reason why I want to talk about this issue today, and it's because if you look at in the media, there's a rise in the number of mental health issues that is going on in the country. And when usually brought up, men are ignored in this kind of, when this issue are raised up, at least men are ignored to a certain extent. And so I just want to talk about it from the mental health perspective of what black men face mental health wise. Mental health, it has to do with your emotions, psychologically. So it has to do with your emotions, psychological well-being, and then your social well-being. And the reason why, and you might say, why is mental health is important? Why is it important? It's important because your emotions, your psychological well-being, and your social well-being, it affects every area of your life. If you have problem regulating your emotions, chances are you're going to get into trouble with many people. You're going to have issues with people everywhere and there, every here and there. If you're psychologically, if you're unbalanced, that means you are going to have difficulty living because you are going to be misinterpreting what people are saying, or you're going to be reading signs in what people are not saying. You understand what I'm saying? If psychologically I'm not balanced, if you tell me good morning, I may start looking at it that, why are you telling me good morning? Is it because you don't like me? It's just, you can start reading meaning to things that are not even there. And socially, we human beings are social creatures, right? And if you cannot function socially, you can't relate to other people, it's going to affect your well-being. It's going to affect how you act. It's going to affect how you treat people, If you cannot relate well with them, then you're going to have a bad relationship with people. And if you cannot have good relationship with people, trust me, it's going to affect your entire life. So mental health is important. But I want to talk about mental health and black people, black men specifically. The reason is this. You see, mental health and black men is very important because as young men, we are raised, if you're a young man or maybe you have a son, we are raised to be strong. Women are raised to be strong, to not cry, to understand that things may be challenging, but don't show any emotions. We're supposed to be strong, show no emotions, do anything we are asked, no matter how difficult, we're supposed to just go there and do it. So there's this expectation for a black man or a black boy, when you're growing up, there's the expectation. This is what a man should look like. We should not see you crying. If someone beats you up in the playground, soak it up, don't cry about it, move on with your life. So we are not allowed to have to ruminate on negative things. We are not allowed to actually express our emotions, because expressing your emotion is seen as sign of weakness, and that's what we have been taught from a young age. And every boy you see, or every man you see, has this narrow conception of manhood, and he lives his life trying to uphold that. Oh, I don't cry, I'm a strong man, I should never show weakness. So now, the problem now becomes an issue when we actually need help. I read this book, Pimpology 101, and the man was saying in the book, he said that as a pimp, or if you want to be seen as a real man, you cannot have problems. That the girl you are with must see you as someone who never has problems. And can you imagine the mental challenge you will have to be facing to be a man that does not have problems? Do you know how impossible it is to live up to this ideal of being a man that has no problems? Living is a problem, So, but what am I trying to get at? What I'm trying to get at is what happens now when this man that has been trained or has been taught that he should not show emotions, should not appear weak, should not even ask for help. What happens when this person now has real problems? This is the reason why a lot of African men don't go to the hospitals to go and examine themselves to see if they are mentally okay. This is the reason why some of them don't go to therapy, because they feel that if they go to therapy, they will have to show emotion, and showing emotion is a sign of weakness. So they don't want to go to therapy. No matter how the mental illness they may be experiencing is harming them, they don't want to go to therapy, because if I go to therapy, or people know I go to therapy, I'm expressing my emotions, they will see me as a weak person. They will see me as a man that is not complete. So because of that, they don't want to go to therapy. So you see, but then, like I said, what happens when a man really needs help? Does he now go to seek that help, or does he suck it up? Because from a young age, you have been taught to suck it up. And we all know that the mindset you train children with when they are growing up, usually the mindset they carry into adulthood, majority of them. So what happens when, for example, when maybe you got robbed and the thing was traumatizing? Let's say, for example, they beat the hell out of you and they robbed you, and then you keep thinking about it, you keep reliving the experience, and it's making it difficult for you to carry on with your life. Or let's say you got abused, maybe sexually, maybe as an adult or even a young person, and then the thing is in the back of your mind, oh man, I got abused, and it's affecting your decisions. Maybe you don't want to be in a relationship with people because you feel that they may take advantage of you again, or whatever. What happens when you actually have mental health issues? Let's say, for example, you have paranoid thoughts. Let's say sometimes you start thinking that people are out to get you, or someone is going to kill you. What happens when you have this mental illness? What do you do? Do you seek for help? And what you have to understand is, what I even want to actually show in this clip is that black men, they are one of the most traumatized sex in the world. I'm telling you, they are one of the most traumatized. And the reason is because in America, the issue of police brutality, they're killing black men, discrimination, the color, just by being black, you're already in trouble, You can pass through a place, and because you are black, all of a sudden they're suspecting you're the one that took whatever they're looking for, So in America, they have their own. And in Nigeria or in other African countries, you can see it. Police brutality, police can be merciless with a black man for no reason, can just beat him up because maybe he didn't give him 100 naira, or they may shoot him over an argument or something. In Nigeria, chances are the African man can get robbed, can get beat up, robbed. You can see whatever all these the challenges that these bus drivers go through every day. Imagine having to deal with police, deal with agberos, deal with deal with customers that are in your van. You now have to deal with other issues and personal issues at home, and this is what you deal with every single day. As an African man in Nigeria, you are trying to get a job, trying to meet up with your responsibilities as a married man, trying to trying to take care of your immediate family, your extended family, and everybody's looking at you to help them with one thing or the other, you see. So, as an African man, there's so much pressure, pressure to meet up with your financial obligation, with your obligation to your family. So there's so much challenge, and our system, or the system that we run here, it doesn't make it easy for young people or for young men to actually live up to their expectations. It doesn't make it easy, due to the corruption and all the other problems that we're having in the country. It makes it difficult sometimes for black men to live up to their challenge, and that's why some of them go into things they're not supposed to go into. What am I getting to? What I'm trying to get into is that black men face so much challenges, right? Trying to live, trying to achieve their responsibility, that in those process, something can go wrong. In that process, the challenges may become too much for them to bear, that it will start affecting them mentally. If you are the person that you're trying to pay your house rent, pay your children's school fees, pay this, pay that, and there's so much pressure, you may put yourself in a situation whereby you are working 24 hours every day, you are working 24 hours. You don't even have time to actually rest. You don't have time to actually take care of yourself, and I see that a lot of the times. And that's when, and again, one thing that is a huge contributor to mental illness that we don't talk about in this country is poverty. Poverty is a very, very huge contributor to mental illness. I'm telling you, if you go on, if you check it, go online and check it. Poverty, insecurity, discrimination, lack of job security, all the issues that we have in Nigeria, they collaborate to create mental illness, and that's why the level of mental illness in the country is very, very high. That is the reason why, So what am I trying to say? So all these things are here, and then you as a black man are supposed to thrive, you're supposed to overcome all these challenges, and some of us do, some don't, some of us get over it, some don't. So what happens in that situation when somebody cannot meet up to those challenges? What happens when they eventually break down because they cannot meet up? What happens? So the black man, because he has been taught from a tender age, he doesn't want to seek for help. And the thing that people don't know about this mental health issue is that the more you ignore it, the worse it gets. And I want it to actually click in. The more you ignore it, the worse it gets. If you experience it, you can go to the hospital and you can be on meds or be on therapy and it can be managed, But some people, they ignore it because they think, it's not important. Or some people may see that you have changed, but they don't know why you have changed, So some people don't want to talk about what they are going through because they think they think it's normal, but don't know that they are changing. And by the time they deteriorate to a point where they are naked on the streets, or where they are beating their wife, or where they molest their children, that's when people start wondering, maybe something is wrong with this man, because the man won't talk about it. He is afraid of sharing himself or sharing his emotions or sharing what he feels because he doesn't want his wife to see to think he's weak or he's not man enough or something, So all these things make it difficult, makes it challenging for the black man or the African man to thrive, because all the problems are in his society. So the reason why, that's what I noticed in that African man experience when it comes to mental health. And my advice to anybody that may be watching this, or if you have somebody that's been through this, you need to see a psychologist. You need to see a psychologist, You need to see a psychologist if you feel that maybe there's something wrong, they are not okay. You need to see, don't ignore it. Ignoring it makes it worse. You don't want to be in a situation whereby you now hurt those people that you love simply because you don't want to go and see a therapist, And I know that. So that's where I'm trying to get at. That's what is very, very important to me. Ignoring your mental health issues, or not getting enough sleep, not taking care of yourself, not eating the right food, all those things can contribute to it. And like I said, poverty contributes to it. So one way to prevent yourself from having mental illness is to eat right, eat good food, rest. It's very important for you to rest. Get a good night's sleep. Spend time with the people that you love, your family. It's not just about making money. Take some time out to spend with your children, with your wife. Those things make it less likely for you to develop mental illness. I'm telling you. So that's what I want young men to have. If you feel something is wrong, go and meet a psychologist, man. Don't worry about living up to some ideal of a man cannot have problems, or a man is supposed to be somebody that never has problems. It does not exist. That kind of man does not exist. Every man has problems. And you cannot tell me that you're a man, you should not share your emotions, or you should not share your feelings. I know nobody asks you about your feelings, but you should see somebody to take care of yourself, okay? That's all I have today, and I just hope that what I've said has really touched somebody, and it will help some people, who may be experiencing challenges, or people who would probably learn that, okay, they should take care of themselves. It is not about working 24 hours every day just to try and make ends meet. Take out time, Making all the money will not feel good if you are not good, Money is good, but you are more important. Your family will prefer you more than money, So on that note, I'm out, and it's a Dark Prophet. And so please take care of yourself, stay safe, and understand mental health is wealth. Bye for now.